Hi everyone. I'm super happy to be here and to be able to meet and discuss a lot of people around here. So today I will present how we are implementing risk with Qualys at Elastic. And I promise this is the only ChatGPT slide. So for the people that don't know, Elastic, we are a search company. Who doesn't know Elastic? Elasticsearch. Okay, so we are doing search, we are doing observability, we are doing security, and I think we are also the engine of the VMDR platform. So if the performance is good, it's us. If it's not good, I don't know. So I'm Clément Fouque. I'm leading the vulnerability management program at Elastic. So I will speak a bit about our environment because it's a bit special. Then I will explain the asset inventory part, the vulnerability management part, and what we plan to use in the future. So Elastic is a globally distributed company. It means that most of us are working from home, which has some challenges. So we are in 44 countries. We have around 3,000 people all over the world. And we mainly rely on SaaS application. So yeah, all the main ones that you see here. This one is because my CISO is asking me to put those numbers because it's always good for the marketing. So we are ingesting 150 terabytes of security data every day. On the endpoint part, we are ingesting around 600 gigabytes. And we have around 450,000 endpoints. But by endpoints, it's largely containers. So this is the architecture that we use at Elastic. So as you can see, Qualys has a central role, but it's not the only part of our architecture. So we use the cloud agent for the scanning part. We also use the vulnerability intelligence data coming from Qualys first EPSS and the NVD. And we also leverage the asset inventory part, so the Qualys module, and then we build our own asset inventory on top of Elastic. And we have basically two solutions for the risk-based vulnerability management. We have, of course, the Qualys console, but we decided that it's better for us to extract all the data out of Qualys and put it into Elastic. And it's for several reasons. The first one is we have pretty good discount with Elastic, so we don't pay much to put the data in there. And we want all our users to access Kibana, which is the dashboard application. And everyone is pretty familiar with Kibana at the company, where Qualys, most of the people don't know about it. Also, and I should not say that, but if one day we want to change from one solution from Qualys to a competitor, which we don't plan to do, but it will be easier for us to be able to do that because then the users, they will still have access to Kibana, and the underlying data will be different, but this is the only thing that will change for them. We leverage a lot GitHub. So as you will see in the presentation, we try to store most of our Qualys configuration in GitHub. And then we push the data automatically when it's updated to the Qualys platform. So it's a bit configuration as code. Dashboarding is on Kibana. And for the automation part, so in order to be able to send the tickets to the different teams, we leverage Tines, which is kind of a no-code SOAR application. We also use a bit the alerting of Kibana. And then we create the tickets in GitHub and in Jira. This slide is pretty interesting because I was the only one working in the vulnerability management at Elastic. Now I have someone that is helping me. But it's just to show you why it's important to use, for example, the Qualys agent instead of doing network scanning. Because if you are able to automate everything, you will spend your time working on what really matters and not in troubleshooting your scans. So this is the module that we have today. And one important part also is that at Elastic, the culture is really important. So it means that when I'm going to a team and I ask them to patch a vulnerability, they will not tell me like, no way or whatever. We will discuss and people understand the importance of security. But on the other side, I understand that sometimes they don't have the bandwidth to remediate the vulnerability now. So it's a discussion. And the culture for me is a key element. Because if you don't have that, then it's an ego competition and it's really, really hard. So this is why at the moment we have only one person working in the vulnerability management. So we use Cloud Agent. And why do we do that? Because it's really easy. So we have a policy to deploy the agent everywhere. We have a scan interval of 4 hours. It's super convenient, especially when you have some vulnerabilities like Log4j, because as soon as you have the QID that is released and pushed automatically, then we have directly the data. We have the performance configured as low, and we have also the Cloud Agent that is auto-updating. So it means that on our 40,000 assets, this is the configuration that we have. We have only one Qualys profile, 2 now, but we have this is the main one. And since I'm working at Elastic, almost 4 years, I never heard about any performance issue on the Cloud Agent. So now the core subject. So to be able to manage your risk, basically what I will show you today is what you've seen until yesterday and today, but how we have really implemented it at Elastic. The asset inventory part, first of all, it's free. So it means that you can deploy the agents everywhere, and you will get already a lot of information, and you don't have to pay extra for the asset inventory part. Super easy to implement. You have some rules to automatically purge your assets. So it means that, for example, the rule that we have is after 7 days, we delete all the data if an asset has been terminated. And we are even more, we have the same for stale assets and I think even stopped assets. We are deleting the data after a point. So we are leveraging a lot the Qualys tags. And I don't know when it was introduced, the asset criticality score, but it was really a game changer for us because we create the asset to augment the data, we create tags to augment the data of our assets. And we created different criticality. And for example, we have a default rule where all the assets have a criticality of 3. Criticality of 1, it's dev and test our instances. Production is 4, and 5, it's for the crown jewels. And we just create, for example, let's say that you have a vault or multiple vault instances. Then you just need to assign the score of 5, and automatically it will inherit from the parent tag. And as I explained a bit before, we put all this data into GitHub, and then as soon as I update, I do a pull request, so it's approved by my colleagues. And as soon as it's merged, then there is a GitHub action, which is a simple curl that is pushing the data to the Qualys platform. The nice part with that is that I have one clear view of all my configuration in GitHub. And if I have to do multiple updates, it's super convenient because I just need to update everything in GitHub and then deploy it automatically in the cloud, in the Qualys cloud, and it's good. We also leverage a lot the Qualys cloud connectors. So this is the way. It's basically for me kind of an unauthenticated scan of your different cloud providers. And for example, if you're missing an agent on an instance, you will be able to see that with the cloud connectors because it will gather all the information on your account, and then you can augment the data on your instance by adding some tags. And how you do that is within the connector, you can add the tags. And for example, here you have the InfoSec account, and I'm adding that it's a production environment. Data classification is internal, and it's owned by the engineering division. And this is how you can start to build your asset inventory. It will not be perfect, but it's better than nothing. So now that you have that, we can really focus on the vulnerability management part. So Qualys, as you have seen, has a Qualys detection score. So it's a new way of scoring your vulnerability. And they also have what they call the asset risk score, which calculate the risk associated with an asset. And then what we do is we just leverage that to prioritize or to give the information to the different teams. So we have some GitHub issues that are created monthly, and on a weekly basis, I'm just providing them an update about the number of vulnerability that they have, and also what are the top 3 assets, the top 3 riskier assets. Also, as you are managing the risk, you need a way to manage exception, and the exception is the same. We are leveraging the search list to be able to track the exception. So what you see here, it's our definition of an exception, and then we have some Python script here that will translate this file into the search list in Qualys. But the important part is that we are able to track the risk, the way the risk is managed. So it could be a false positive, it could be a risk acceptance, and yeah. And now, for we are working on 2 different subjects. So container scanning is a big part, and what I just showed you until now, it was only for the operating system part. But for the container scanning, we could think about similar workflows, but we haven't implemented them. And also we are working on the patch management on a really narrowed area. And so far, we were using the patch management. It's working really well for us, even if it's for a really small area of our environment. So if you start on Qualys, those are the 3 elements that I would recommend to do. It's my opinion. It's based on my experience, on my environment, but I believe that it could be applicable for a lot of people. So the first part is the asset inventory. Just start. Just build something. Even track, for example, I have a tag for unknown teams, and I'm tracking that. So it means that when I'm going to the management and I'm saying like, I have 60% of my assets that don't have an owner, it's already something. And then generally when you show this to the management will help you and will contact the different person. Use the connectors. The connectors, they are working really well. And this is how you can enrich your assets. TrueRisk is working fine. I was planning to use the EPSS before they released QDS and Asset Rescore. And when I've seen it, I just shift and I said, okay, it's working really well. I will use this part. And then the reporting part, I know a lot of teams are extracting the data from Qualys. And I forgot to mention that we just released an integration for Qualys. So there is an Elastic Agent Qualys integration where you can extract the data. You just need to enter like the credential and some parameter that you want to extract. And then you can have the data directly into Elastic. To be fair, I will work on that in May to implement it in production because I didn't have the time. But if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me on LinkedIn, and I will do my best to help you. And in May or June, I will try to create a blog post to explain how to do it. That's it.
Clement, are you okay for one question?
Yeah.
Perfect.
If it's a nice one.
Hi. You said that you use AWS and with Qualys agents. And do you utilize AWS Inspector?
No, we don't, because we have some gold image, and basically, if I have like 1,000 assets or 100,000 assets, for me it's nearly the same. And as we are in AWS, in GCP, in Azure, in IBM, we don't really want to rely on the technology of a specific provider. So we prefer to have the cloud agents deployed everywhere, and then it's unified. So this is why we are using the Qualys agent and not AWS Inspector.
Okay, thanks.
So that's all we have time, just to make sure we keep on time. But if there are any questions, I'm sure Clement will be around later today and we'll be happy to answer them. But thank you very much, Clement, for the presentation.
Thank you.